49er faithful, the San Francisco 49ers just made history in making the running back Christian McCaffrey the highest paid running back in the NFL. Let's get down to it. Let's break it down. Let's have some fun. Let's talk about the Niners and their future. I'm super excited, just as you should be. Let's get right to it. Faithful to the Bay, baby, all the way.
All we know is the Niners. Ready, go, let us find us. So faithful to the Bay. I be sipping gold bar, whiskey on the rocks, and a 24-karat gold on a watch. My 7-1 Chevy be tipping nonstop, sounding like Trent Williams on the block. So you know we can't stop, we be banging through your speakers. WayneBreezie on the field or in the bleachers. You can tune into my show and I'm a teacher. WayneBreezie, the 4-9 preacher. We so bright that we shine.
What's going on, 49er faithful? It's your boy WayneBreezie. Welcome to the WayneBreezie Show. New time, new day, new time. Trying some things out. You know what? Let's kick this show off. We got a super chat contribution. I don't want to keep that waiting. Shout out to 49ers _ throwback. My brother from another mother says Jawan Jennings and CMC are now paid. Now all we need is B.A. But in the words of Ice Cube, I had to add that in there. Today was a good day. Just waking up in the morning, gotta thank God. I don't know, but today seems kind of odd. Let's go. Best running back in the game, and Kyle never was ever letting CMC go. Yo, you preaching. And it's funny because if you go back to the 2017 draft, I guarantee you he was number one on the 49ers draft chart on their big board. I bet you he was. But the way they were trying to build from the trenches, it is what it is. Thank you so much for the super chat contribution. I appreciate you. 49ers _ throwback. All right, Jax Knox is in the building. Member for 17 months, man. I feel like we need the graduation theme song. Like, thank you. 17 months, been in this thing. Appreciate you for being a member for 17 months. Shout out to everybody out there. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. We had some Peachy in the building first. Thank you so much for tuning in to the WayneBreezie Show. Make sure you guys smash that like button. All right, look. Smash the like button. Don't break your like button, but make sure you hit it, right? Super simple. Smash the like button. Do that, all right? You know what it does for the stream. Don't forget to hashtag the BB2 as well. It just lets the algorithm know that there's some activity going on, right? We're trying to bump this show up, to the top of the cream of the crop, right? We're trying to get this to be a cream of the crop type of show where you can go for your 49ers news and entertainment, you know? I kind of treat the show like it's weekly tonight, like entertainment, right? So new time, 6 p.m. On Tuesdays. Haven't figured out my Thursdays yet, but Tuesdays and Thursdays I'll be looking to do WayneBreezie Show. I'll be doing some features on other platforms as well throughout the week, and I'm going live on other various platforms. So you're going to want to make sure that you're here, you like. If you're new to the channel, feel free to subscribe. Make sure you subscribe, all right? And become a member of the Breezy Bunch crew, because there will be, as the season progresses and gets near to the end, there's going to be an exclusive show just for members of this particular platform. So you're not going to want to miss out. Thank you, Peachy, for that. Those grateful words and the salute as well. I appreciate you. All right. Shout out to everybody out there. Gotta do my member shout outs, man. Manly Shavers is in the building. What's going on, fam? Says, let's go Niners faithful. Niner Cali boys saying hello to everybody ready for the show. Man, I'm excited, because the Niners are looking to run it back, and they're running it back with the pieces that they need to run it back with, right? And that's why Fernando said, look, we just got to get BA back in the mix, and it'll be a full running it back. So we'll talk about that. Felicia in the building. I've been on my hustle today. IG, BR, no harm, no foul. John and Wayne, thank you. Yes. I thought I was going to be lessening the load. This is supposed to be a TWBS day, but I had to pick up some extra stuff. So shout out to Mike over there, Nothing But Niners. Shout out to John on the 49ers Rush channel. And yes, I did go live on Bleacher Report. I had to break the news for them as well. So yeah, man, what a great day. What a great day. What's going on, Kylie? Eric, I see you in the building. What's good? It's good. Like, Eric, I can't wait to the week 4, I believe, we play the Seattle Seahawks, let's talk. Let's talk the game. Let's have some fun. You've been faithful here, rocking out with your boy. I appreciate you, man. I know that week you're going to be a little hostile. I understand. But I love to chop it up with you, during that week. It's week 4, I believe. It's Thursday Night Football, right? I believe that's the first time we play Seattle this year. I could be wrong. My dates is all jacked up. All right. So it is what it is. Guys, don't forget, man, you can follow me on all these other various platforms. If you're listening to the podcast, on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, please make sure to leave a 5-star rating as well as some good comments over there. X and you can follow and subscribe there as well. Instagram, Threads, TikTok, as well as Facebook. They'll get exclusive content on there as well. So make sure you do that. And for those members of the Patreon, I just want to truly thank you. I will be getting back to my video breakdowns this week. So thank you so much for being members of the Patreon. And if you want the exclusive video breakdowns like a film and what I do over there on the Patreon, it's a little different than everybody else. It's not your average film breakdown. It's a lot more entertaining. I could tell you that right now. I kind of focus on, the all 22 from a different perspective, right? I focus on explosive and stuff like that. So make sure you check that out. But this right there on the patreon.com/@the WayneBreezie. And I got to shout out our sponsor of the show, Residency. Let's give them a round of applause. They got a good sale going on right now. You see, I got a fresh joint. You saw Kyle in a nice. Is this the joint Kyle had on? No, he had the black trim on the SF. Go to www.residency.com. Use the promo code SFBreezy. All right. So not only will you get the stuff on sale, you'll also save when you use that discount code. So go ahead and check it out. All right. So make sure you guys do that. And we're going to have some new apparel and some updates to some of the apparel right here on the WayneBreezie Entertainment Network.com/shop. So listen, go there, man. Do me a favor. Get you a WayneBreezie tee. Get one of the exclusive 49er tees we got up there. The Nick Bosa joints. We got the Saccaroni joints up there. Go ahead and check them out. We got the B.A. 1K joints up there as well. Brandon Ayuk, I think he's going to have his third 1,000-yard season with the San Francisco 49ers. So you're going to want to get that shirt ASAP and as well. All right. So make sure you guys check that out. Support the brand. You know what I mean? I appreciate it. Fluffy Ninja, what's going on, baby? 49. I'm loving the 49ers caps behind you. I appreciate you, man. Look at that hat you got on, and the chain is looking funky fresh. We got some Twitch people over in here. What's going on, Twitch? How you doing, Twitch? What's good, Twitch? Nitty Gritty Niners will be back as the season gets closer to the season. Definitely training camp time. We'll be bringing back Nitty Gritty Niners. It's going to be on Monday nights. So we'll be looking to do that, and I got to work with everybody's timing. So I promise, man, listen, I got a lot of stuff, a lot of things I've been trying to create behind the scenes, exclusive shows for those that are paying. I gotta make sure I take care of you guys, right? And so that's what I've been focusing on behind the scenes. A lot of videos, a lot of editing, a lot of stuff like that. Eddie G and the Beat Dogs, what's going on, baby? What's going on, family? I hope you're doing good. Don't bother me in the building. What's good, bro? I hope everything is well. All right, man, let's get down to the King Caboodle because the breaking news popped off today and it was official. And so now we could kind of talk a little bit more about kind of like what went down, right? Now, before we do that, we do know that mandatory minicamp has begun on today, right? Mandatory minicamp has kicked off today. It's for the next 3 days, so 2 more days to go. We had a lot of players that were there that were mandatory, right? Keyword being mandatory, meaning that they're CBA or contractually obligated to, because of the collective bargaining agreement, to be or attend camp. Now, just to start off, a couple of players that did not attend camp today was left tackle Trent Williams, also Brandon Ayuk. All right, so we'll talk a little bit about those guys missing practice, but I did want to talk about the 49ers prior to the Christian McCaffrey news signing tight end Logan Thomas, and they waived defensive lineman Raymond Johnson III. Now, listen, on Instagram today, I talked a little bit about Logan Thomas and what I think he's going to bring to the 49ers. And, he's a receiving tight end. The Niners are going to be looking to go with a lot of 2 tight end sets. They asked Kyle Shanahan today about the running backs and situations and stuff like that. But I think about 3 wide receiver sets. He said he's not pretty much changing his game plan. And so his game plan is more 21 personnel opposed to like, 12 personnel or some of the other personnels out there that we like to see from time to time. 11 personnel, I think, is what everybody want to see with those 3 wide receiver sets out there. We got a bunch of wide receivers. And so it's going to be interesting, just to see how Kyle Shanahan utilizes his players, depending on the ones that make the team. Now, listen, he has rushed for 2 yards this past season, but I'm interested because they brought in another veteran, and this let me know, I don't know, this does a couple of things, when you think about the San Francisco 49ers and their tight end room. And as I look at the depth chart of the tight ends, here we go, right? You got to start where it is, all right? You tell me who's going to be number 2. Number 1, George Kittle. And here are the candidates for the number 2 tight end spot. Put it in the chat who you think is going to be number 2. Ready? Logan Thomas, Eric Sauber, Cameron Latou, Jake Tonges, Mason Plines, the undrafted free agent, or Braden Willis. No, I didn't have them in any type of an order, but who do you think is going to be tight end 2 when it's all said and done? Now, last time I counted, that's hold on, where am I at? Uno, deux, trois, quatre, cinq, six, sept. They got 7 tight ends right now. Yeah, I started in Spanish and finished in French. I realized I couldn't count Spanish, but listen, they got 7 tight ends on their roster. Okay. And, I personally think, let me see what you guys are talking about in the chat. I asked you guys to put who your tight end 2 is. Let's see what you guys, I got Logan Thomas. I got Logan Thomas. Man, hey, y'all ain't playing around. Y'all not playing around. Oh, I got to do a quick breakdown then. All right. So some Logan Thomases, I get it. Logan, who I knew was getting signed. Jack says, Logan, you knew Logan was getting signed. Hold on, Jax. Hold on, I got you.
A bullshit.
All right, but Jack said she knew he was getting signed. I like that, Jax. It's funny because I knew he was getting signed too. Interesting. But I tell you what, I knew they were going to bring in a vet. We went through the Robert Tonyan phase, passed on him. He got signed by a different team. Logan Thomas was kind of like hanging out there. I love it. The 49ers brought him in. I don't have his contractual agreement yet. So I was looking on Spot Rack to see if they gave the figures and things like that. But I don't have that as of yet. But I will make sure that I report it once I get it. So we can go through the detailed numbers. Is it a 1-year deal, which I believe it is? What's the terms, what it is, all that good stuff. All right, so we'll figure it out. But I do like the signing. Why? Because I think instantly he bumps up to your tight end 2 just from his experience. 6'6", 250. And he's been in the league for several years. Like 2014, he was drafted, Arizona. I believe that's who he drafted in the 4th round, pick 120. And then he went to Buffalo. I think he was traded to Buffalo. He played in Detroit for a year. And he spent the last 4 seasons with the Commanders, and they didn't bring him back. 76 targets. His best season was with the Commanders in 2020. As far as production, we're talking 105 targets, 72 receptions, averaged 670 yards, averaged 9.3 yards per catch. Had 6 TDs that season. That would be his best season, throughout his career. The question is, what will he be able to give the 49ers this year as a vet? I do think he dealt with some type of injuries throughout his career. Nothing super detrimental, if I'm not mistaken. Here's where the Niners get to have fun with him, though, because you can line him up in the slot, right? You can line him up out wide, and you can line him up in line. I'm looking at his snaps, and I'm like, damn, he had a 30, and last season he had 307 snaps in the slot. That year in 2020, 440. That's where they like to line him up. In line, 116. And then, if you go outside wide, 144. He's a slot killer. Big guy, 6'6". Interesting, because we got Jawan Jennings back. So having him and Jennings on the field at the same time, size matchups, who you going to defend, go ahead and put a little guy on him if you want to. To me, he's a red zone dude too, right? He likes to score in the red zone a lot. He finds a way to get open, Throughout his career, only 3 fumbles throughout his career. That's kind of good. 13 drops throughout his career. You know what I'm saying? Not too many. The season where he had his best season, he had the most drops in 5. I know people be wanting to know. You 49er fan, you want to know how many times they dropped the ball and fumbled the ball, right? I get it. That's who we are. And I understand it. I could dig it. But I think he's going to, Kyle Shanahan talked about adding him and him being competition to the room. And it's funny because I thought before Logan Thomas, it was Eric Saubert. So I thought Eric Saubert was tight end too. I'm just keeping it a buck. And I you know what? I don't think we remember who Eric Saubert or what Eric Saubert did. And so let me bring up his receiving. Let me look at Eric Saubert's receiving. Another veteran, 2017, came in the year Kyle Shanahan became head coach. Played in Atlanta for 2 seasons, Chicago for a season, Jacksonville for a season, Denver for 2 seasons. Last team was Houston. Didn't play much in Houston. Had 3 targets, 3 receptions. I believe he didn't play that much. I think he was injured this season or whatever. And so when I look at him, I'm like, where do they like to line him up? Let's see if there's some similarities here. Not a slot guy and not a wideout guy. He looks like he's an inline guy. He will be utilized more for blocking, in my opinion. So they got the Ross Dwelly type of tight end and Logan Thomas, and they got the Charlie Warner type of tight end and Eric Saubert. So the Niners literally replaced their free agents, Ross Dwelly, Charlie Warner, with Eric Saubert and Logan Thomas. And then you got these other guys that you're hoping to develop. Now, updated news on Cameron Latou. Kyle Shanahan said there's no setbacks for Cameron Latou, and he should be good to go around training camp. He should be good to go around training camp. So we're going to really sit back, relax, and see what he's going to be, what Cameron Latou is going to be doing. And, I can't help it, but my eyes are going to be on this tight end room. Now that I think about it, I think it's going to be on the tight end room because, look, it's George Kittle. And then you got to figure out who's going to be the number 2 when they come out there in that 12 personnel, right? Those 2 tight ends on the football field. Who's going to be that guy? So I'm excited, right? I'm excited. I think if Logan Thomas can sustain and be available for the 49ers, I think it's going to be a great thing. Now, listen, I know a lot of Niners may have PTSD, former Washington commander, I believe Jordan Reed was another guy. I think I'm saying his name right. Always feel like I get his name wrong. But I remember him, tight end. He's from Connecticut, too. He went to New Britain here. But I remember him. Looked like he was about to be the perfect number 2 complementary piece with George Kittle. Kyle Shanahan was probably going to feast with the 2 tight end sets out there on the football field. And because of injuries, he just couldn't get going. You know what I'm saying? He couldn't get going. But I like the Logan Thomas signing, and so I think the 49ers are going to be doing themselves a damn good job with this tight end. Tanisha, what's going on? Good afternoon, Breezy in chat. It's always a pleasure being amongst the faithfuls. We appreciate you for being here. Thank you so much, Tanisha. Yosef, what's going on? All right, so listen, you get good value out of Logan Thomas. I think he immediately comes in, smart kid. He's going to be able to help take the Niners up a level in that tight end department. But they did waive defensive lineman Raymond Johnson III, so they had to make room for him. So that's where that is. All right, let's talk about Christian McCaffrey. That's why we're here. Actually, before we get to Christian McCaffrey, all right, let's talk about a couple of other things. Now, we talked about Brandon Ayuk possibly holding out, and currently he's holding out, right? Now, I don't know how long the holdout is going to last, but I do know that the holdout is going to cost him some bread. So right now, he is subject to fines for $104,259 over the next 3 days. So I think that's per day, if I'm not mistaken. I think each day he misses a mini camp practice, I believe he's going to miss that amount, or it could be that total amount. I don't know off the top of my dome. I'm hoping it's not that total amount. I do know he'll miss more if he missed training camp days. I do know that the number is a little bit higher. So Brandon Ayuk not being at practice today, holding out per Kyle Shanahan due to the contract situations. You know what I'm saying? That's kind of like what we got down to. Here's the practice report. No Trent Williams. He was at his daughter's graduation, but Kyle Shanahan said he plans for Trent Williams plans to be there on tomorrow, but he's not going to practice. A lot of veterans were there today and didn't practice. George Kittle, Mooney Ward, they're coming off of injuries. We'll talk about their injuries. A lot of guys didn't have to practice today. Even though they were suited up, they were out there on the football field. That was a good sign. It's just a good sign to see all the bros get together one more time for the next couple of days before they go on this 40-day sabbatical, right? Like they're about to go on a 40-day, sabbatical. We got my man Philip Young all the way from Bangkok. It's morning over there. Appreciate you, Philip Young. Thanks for tuning in on X, man. Feel free, man. If you got the YouTube, come to the YouTube so you can enter the community and be a part of this wonderful community over here on YouTube. But I appreciate you for watching on Twitter as well. Thank you so much for tuning in. And so look, the Niners, in my opinion, are definitely making sure that players stay safe. You can see Ricky Pearsall in that blue non-contact jersey. Kyle Shanahan said it was just due to some soreness or whatever or whatnot. I wonder if they were overworking Ricky as he came in as a rookie. They had him returning kicks, punts, everything. Like he was the workhorse. And did I not tell y'all that Ricky Pearsall was going to be the wide receiver that can play all three wide receiver positions? Did I not say that? Can I give myself a round of applause for saying that? Kyle Shanahan confirmed it today. I said he could play the X, the Y, and the Z, right? He could play outside, he could play inside in the slot, he could play in the backfield, X, Y, Z. And I said that is going to be his role. And it kind of reminds you of Deebo Samuel, right? Which, I don't know, man. I like Deebo. Whew. I don't know how to touch on Deebo, man. I want to know what you guys, did you guys get a chance to watch I don't want to watch it. I didn't like how they kind of attacked Deebo Samuel today. But I'm kind of concerned. I'm not concerned about his play on the football field. But this may be it for him. Deebo Samuel's career as a 49er may be in jeopardy after this season, and they talked about it. So they had to ask him about it, right? And so, Deebo was kind of like, you could tell when the presser started, he was cool. He was engaged. He answered questions about Ricky. He answered questions about the rookie. He talked about Jacob Cowan. He talked about the young guys. I just feel like when they asked him about him being a 49er, it kind of got weird. Like his responses, I don't think he really was feeling the question or even expecting the question, because they had to start about him being traded. And he said, yeah, man, my agent took care of it. I let my agent handle it, but I'm here. So I'm here. Now, my question is, will this affect Deebo Samuel's play in 2024? Like, does he play different and to where it hurts the team more than it helps the team? I don't know. Just let the kid go out there and play football. I thought this was me. I thought it was just me, Niner Cali boy. And it was kind of like, uh-oh. And when he left the stage, bro, like he ain't say bye. He just darted out. Like literally, like, I'm done. Do you think the Niners, they did him like some type of injustice? But he is back. He's back. He's under contract for this year and next year, but they do have an out next year. Here's my thing. Whatever Deebo does, I'm pretty much hoping Deebo balls out, like all the way out, like so far out. I'm hoping he balls all the way out. That's all I'm gonna leave it at that. That way, you know what I'm saying? Kali says Deebo just needs to focus on the season and play like it's your last. Yeah, I feel like this is what he was going to do anyway. So to like even ask him about next season, and I think the question about the trade was what kind of changed the conversation. But then when you talked about the Niners having an out next year, I'm like, why the fuck are y'all asking him this? Like literally, like we could all read. We could all go to Spot Rack. We could all go to Over the Cat. We could all read that there's an out in the contract for next year. I just thought that was bad. I thought that was distasteful. And I'm hoping this is what Deebo does. I'm hoping this is his mindset. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm hoping Deebo says, all right, cool, F you, pay me. And that's going to be crazy, right? Because if Deebo balls out, does he price himself out of San Francisco? I mean, it's not like he'll be looking to get a contract extension, not after this season, but after next season. So it's going to be weird. And like he said, look, he signed the deal. Like they signed it. So let it be that. Just let it be that, right? Let it be that. He signed the deal. But so it was a little uncomfortable watching Deebo kind of like respond to some of the questions. Just want to get y'all thoughts on it. Like, nothing. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying when it comes to Deebo Samuel. But I'm hoping he goes out there. You know what? I got to give him a round of applause because he is out there. He's mentoring the youngins. He's being a leader. Deebo to me was been a true captain. You could talk. Y'all could say all y'all want about Deebo Samuel, but as far as wearing that C on his chest, ain't nobody taking that away from him. And he proved it this season, like this offseason. He showed up at OTAs. He's now at mandatory minicamp, and I can't wait to see him go out there and lead those wide receivers out there on the football field come in 2024. He's been in contact with Brandon Ayuk, so that's good. Hopefully that and the 49ers, Brandon Ayuk and the 49ers can figure some stuff out. But we got to talk about the Brandon Ayuk potentially holding out, because does this hinder the 49ers' opportunities of running it back? That's a great question, right? Like Brandon Ayuk, if he holds out and signs, let's say the holdout lasts as long as Nick Bosa's. I think a valid question is, will Brandon Ayuk be ready to go week 1? And, that's to be seen, right? Me personally, I think so. He plays wide receiver. I mean, like, what does he got to do? He knows how to run routes. The only thing you could question is he in like NFL football shape? But he knows how to run routes. He knows how to get open. He's got throwing the ball. So I think he'll be fine. But, football speed is different than practice speed. And if you're not even practicing at the 49er speed of practice, that's crazy. And then there's the report, like, what if Brock got so much better and the chemistry is bad? Like, we've seen this happen, right? Like with receivers and chemistry being off and we couldn't figure out why. I just think it's a legit question. So is a potential holdout. I'm hoping that come camp it's fixed, right? And so that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking around camp time, it's fixed. It's not about him signing. It's about when is he going to sign, right? So it's not me about is Brandon Ayuk going to sign. That's not the question for me. The question is when, because the win matters, right? The win matters. If you're trying to build the rapport and the chemistry with your quarterback, that matters. And, you got to get used to your quarterback, especially if Brock, especially since Brock looks like he's coming in stronger. He might be throwing a faster ball. He might have some more touch on his passes. So many things that they got to do to get into some type of chemistry. Like, you know what I'm saying? So we'll see what happens, man. But right now he's not there, and I think we definitely want to show some love to the people that are there. Here's the injury report as far as guys. You got the core muscle injury to Trevarius Ward and Kittle, who were at the voluntary practice. Drake Greenlaw with the Achilles, obviously. You guys know Drake Jackson has the knee issue. I did see Drake Jackson kind of working out on his, I think it was Insta. He was just doing some knee exercises. You saw him bending the knee. You can see the scar on his knee. So Drake Jackson looks like he's healing fine. I think my only concern, I know the status of Drake Greenlaw. I mean, he's not going to play for a while. I think my concern right here is Jake Brendel. If I had to put a question mark around any one of these players, it's Jake Brendel. Like, this is the 49ers starting center. The starting center is suffering from some type of knee tendonitis. Like, right? Something with his knee. Now, he is supposed to be good to go by training camp, so July. So after the mini camp, the Niners are going to get 40 days off before training camp starts. And once training camp starts, they'll be good to go. Now, I'm hoping Jake Brendel will be good to go, but we're going to see and pay that some attention, see how severe that is. I'm sure I'm suffering from knee tendonitis, and it flares up from time to time, like when it really hurts really bad. And so we'll see who will replace. Now, here, just in case I don't make it home tonight, here's some options if Jake Brendel, okay, isn't good to go. I think if Jake Brendo isn't good to go, I think they will slide John Feliciano to the starting center spot. I think that's your best option. Because after that, you're going with some undrafted guys, Drake Nugent, Brayson Mays. One of these guys are going to make the practice squad. One of them might make the roster. So there's a possibility that both of the undrafted free agent centers, Drake Nugent and Brayson Mays, makes the roster and the practice squad. I can see that happening. But I think the Niners want to go with the more shored up veteranship out there on the offensive line. And if John Feliciano can play center with Jake Brendel dealing with the injury, I think I much rather feel more comfortable, because then your starting offensive line will be Trent Williams, Aaron Banks, John Feliciano. I think now you slide the rookie Dominic Pooney into the guard spot. I'm curious how that competition is going to work, though, because I don't think Spencer Burford's just going to lay down and give him the spot, and then Colton McKivitz at the right tackle. So we'll see what happens with that offensive line. It's going to be weird, but Jake Brendo, in my opinion, is the question mark. Like, you know what I mean? For me, he's the question mark. Leon Sandcastle says, with Brendo and Feliciano for practicing today, Barch will take center steps. So I forgot about Ben Barch. They have him as a guard. There is a possibility that he can move into the center spot. If he, like you said, especially if those guys weren't practicing. And I didn't get the Feliciano not practicing today, but if he didn't practice today, yeah, I'm sure it was going to be Ben Barch. I'm excited to see what these young guys can do. It's really hard to make this roster as an undrafted free agent too, by the way. So it's not like it's going to be super easy or whatnot. Let's talk a little bit more before we get into that. I got to do the super chat. Members. JP Hellahart, 2,800, 12 months, man. Love you to life. Shalom King. Pass rush going to turn up this year. G. Celtics in 6. Yes, we got Celtics in 6. I think the pass rush is going to feast. That's number 2. And I appreciate you. Love you too, bro. Look, the pass rush, I just think the pass rush upgraded. You look at the pass rush and you say to yourself, oh, snap. It's Nick Bosa. And it's Leonard Floyd. And then last year, it was Nick Bosa, and then it was like depth. And then they went out and traded for Chase Young. So the question that we talked about earlier on the John and Wayne show, here's the question I'm going to ask you guys. Here's the question. Is Leonard Floyd an upgrade over Chase Young? And I think that's the question you have to ask yourself. Like, is Leonard Floyd an upgrade over Chase Young? For me, it's absolute yes. More seasoned veteran, consistency with his sack and pass rushing numbers. I think Chase Young still coming of age, coming into his own, still hasn't figured out his game. What, does he want to be a power guy? Does he want to be a speed guy? Like, what is he trying to be? I think he has the tools and the ceiling to be greater. He's younger. He can possibly become something better, but we know, you know exactly what you're getting in Leonard Floyd, right? Like, you know exactly what you're getting in Leonard Floyd, right? And so for me, it's like Leonard Floyd is an upgrade, right? And now this helps out your depth, right? Because you got Drake Jackson returning from an injury. I'm hoping he doesn't start the season on like the PUP, but we'll see what happens. You got Drake Jackson returning from injury. You got Robert Bill Jr. going to be looking to get more snaps. You signed Yetur Gross-Matos, right? I think he's the number 3 guy, okay? You still got Alex Barrett, okay? And then you got Austin Bryant and Sam Okwayanono. I think I said that right. Okwayanono. I hope I said that right. Right. So those are your depth. Those are the guys you're going to rotate in. Good thing is Alex Barrett, Austin Bryant, as far as edge rushers, have been in this system. So that's a good thing. That's a sign. That's a plus. The question mark is going to be Drake Jackson. And what can he do? Will he be healthy? Former second round pick, like you're hoping like this player progresses into what you thought he was going to be. It's a potential possibility that he's not, that and that's the issue, right? Like that's the issue. I saw the scar. It did look nasty, right? Like nasty scar. Like you literally could see. So I didn't even know you can see scars. I thought they were done. Strawberry reacts. I also think Gross Matos is an upgrade over Cleveland Farrell, especially as a pass rusher. I thought Cleveland Farrell was a hell of an edge guy that sets the edge. Like, you know what I'm saying? Hell of a guy to set the edge. Will he be missed? We'll find out. But I like Gross Matos. I'm not going to stunt. I think he's going to be a problem for the 49ers. So, yeah, man, you look at that defensive end room, the question is, all right, which one is it going to be? Like, who's going to splash? I'm going with the speed guy. Got to be Robert Bill. Like, my two circles, Robert Bill Jr. and freaking Drake Jackson. That's what I need. I need them to find a way to be productive. Here's the cool thing. If you have 4 down guys and Leonard Floyd, Nick Bosa, and you could rotate Gross Matos in there, right? Also, like, just, to relieve some pressure or whatever or whatnot, that's huge for the Niners. And then on certain situations, like those 3rd and longs, those NASCAR packages, all of that. Now you could bring in your Robert Bill Jr., your Drake Jacksons. Because Drake Jackson is, to me, a freak around the line of scrimmage, right? Like, he knows how to utilize his hands and arms and create tip passes, batting balls down, sacks, interceptions. Like, that in my opinion, that's kind of like what I get from. But Robert Bill Jr., definitely a speed guy off the edge, a little lightweight, but has the speed. Wasn't he a 4.3 guy, if I'm not mistaken? 4.3 guy? Can somebody look that up? Robert Bill Jr.? I know he was fast. And we'll see. We'll see how that happens. But the 49ers have great rotation. They're young, but some of those guys are experienced. So, yeah, I think the upgrade is there or whatnot. I'm curious to know how fast he was on last year. All right. So that's kind of like the rundown, the recap of day one. I'm sure they'll practice more on tomorrow. You'll get more video of the drills being ran, opposed to just working out. I think they're on phase 3 and things like that. And so we'll see. We'll see what happens tomorrow. And I hope the guys continue to turn up and progress and just get better. I mean, I think it's the only thing that comes down to it. Let's get to this Christian McCaffrey talk right here. We'll cap this off with Christian McCaffrey, ladies and gents, and then I'm gonna leave you guys with the pros and questions with a player that, for some reason, like, y'all know Fred Warner, my favorite player, right? Well, I feel like I'm starting to develop a heart for another player. I always liked him as a person, but there's another player in this team that's like taking my heart. We'll end with that. But let's talk about Christian McCaffrey, because this young gentleman, man, is I feel like he's the greatest running back we haven't seen in a long time. Let me ask you this. Where do you guys place Christian McCaffrey? Because I feel like the last great running back we witnessed was Adrian Peterson. And I know we've had some other good backs up, but nobody's done what AP has done, right? I feel like Christian McCaffrey is starting to be in that conversation. And I'm curious to see if he continues to progress upwards with less amount of usage. Now, speaking of usage, I do want to talk about that. Kyle Shanahan spoke about that. I think Kruger asked. We're going to listen to that. But here it is. They signed Christian McCaffrey to a 2-year extension. So it's a total of extra 2 years to his already 2 years he had left of $38 million over the 2026-27 season. He's averaged to make over the next 4 years $15.5 million per season, and $24 million of that is guaranteed, right? $24 million is guaranteed. Now, I personally... Now, I know they reset the running back market and things like that, but I personally don't think this is enough. Not for a player to Christian McCaffrey's status. And I think Christian McCaffrey, hands down, is the best running back in the league. I'm glad that he got his extension. I'm glad that he got his guarantees. I think that's what's most important. I think for me, it's most important that he got his guarantees. I think that's super important. Now, fumbling the ball, he doesn't like it. They asked him about that too. And these players are tight. Listen, That was last season. He focused on this season. That's what he said. He tried to say, man, I don't care if I had a great season or bad, did something bad. I'm focusing on what I need to do now. I thought that was the perfect cap off to close that question out. So Christian McCaffrey shut that down. But listen, I mean, you're not gonna. I think, in my opinion, Christian McCaffrey is a generational talent. Like, he's not your typical Adrian Peterson style of running back. But I feel like if I had to put a couple of running backs together, I feel like if you put Adrian Peterson and kind of like Terrell Davis together, somehow you get a Christian McCaffrey. I think he runs as hard as AP, but his body, I think he can withstand the hits. I think he's very durable. I don't know if he's as fast as Adrian Peterson was, but I don't think there's a running back in the NFL with his vision. He sees the setup. This is why he gets a lot of explosive runs. You know what I'm saying? And I'm excited. I'm excited. I'm glad that he's here. I think Marshall Faulk is a good comparison. Different, right? I feel like Marshall Faulk wasn't as tough. Bad word. He was Marshall Faulk was more like fluid though. Like, I don't know. Marshall Faulk had a little sweetness to his run. He a little swiftness to the way he caught the ball out of the backfield too. Christian McCaffrey is like, yeah, I'm gonna catch it, I'm gonna make you miss, and then I'm out. Or I'm gonna catch it, I'm gonna dip the shoulder, I'm gonna run you. Like, Christian McCaffrey played with a different style, but I like this. I like this. He definitely not Tomlinson. Like, I don't get the Tomlinson from Christian McCaffrey. He ain't as fast. Yeah, he don't bounce as much either. I be wanting Christian McCaffrey to bounce too. You know what I mean? Octavius over on Facebook says, I love CMC, but he don't get the big run against great defenses. Dude, they load the box. Like, if you talk about great defenses aren't like, warming up on them. They're loading. They're putting 8 to 9 people in that box. It's tough to run up the middle with 9 people in the box. You're hoping to get outside and great blocking. And if he could get outside to the zone, then he could break up, and he just got to beat out a corner on the outside. It is tough, though, to run against those great defenses, but I think it's because they stacked that box. They've been stacking the box on. Y'all got to go back and watch the games. Literally, even with stacked boxes, depending on how great this box is when they stacked, Christian McCaffrey still be chewing it up. He still be chewing up the stacked boxes. I think that's why Christian McCaffrey was extended. I think it's his ability to still be able to run the ball against the stacked box. And I'm not all for running against the stacked box, but I thought he was amazing against, to me, some of the best stack boxes out there, and defensive fronts out there as well. Teams that play Christian McCaffrey. It's a great comment too, Octavius. Thank you. I appreciate you. Christian McCaffrey, man, they come in there, you game plan for him. You take away the run, And so I think what Kyle Shanahan realizes, I need Christian McCaffrey's, X factor abilities to, when they try to take away the run, to kind of like, so that I could do something else with the offense to get it going. You could go to the quick throw game. You could go to the boots. I personally would like to see a lot of more boots, rights, lefts, Can we get some more check downs to Christian McCaffrey? I mean, listen, can we get the check down game on par? I don't care if we got to be the check down Kangs. We got the best running back to do it. It should be not a problem. But I think his dual threat ability to be able to line up outside and then inside as a receiver, I think that's bar none the best in the NFL. And there were others. You had your Austin Ecklers, your Josh Jacobs. These were guys that had Saquon Barkley's. These were guys that had that same ability. Aaron Jones, who's now going to be a Viking. But no one can do it like Christian McCaffrey. Like, it's crazy. So you had to make sure you took care of that. He's a key cog, right, to the 49ers offense. Remember, we were able to run the ball with Mostert and Breida, right? A lot of outside zone runs, right? We did that good. And then I thought Elijah Mitchell gave us a good rookie year, right? I thought he was going to be even better his sophomore year until he busted his knees up in game one against Chicago, right? And then they had to make a decision. The Niners had to go out and say, listen, we about to trade. We need a running back. And they did it. They said F picks, F the second, third, fourth, and fifth pick, right, of that year, of the next year. 2023. F them. We need a running back. And they got Christian McCaffrey. And so I think that was one of the best things that the Niners did because it just allowed Kyle Shanahan to continue to be innovative and create mismatches on the offensive side of the football. So Christian McCaffrey being here to me is a bonus. You already know what you're going to get from him. Teams have already tried to take him out of the game plan and it doesn't work. You get what I'm saying? Steph, what's going on? They've already tried to take him out of the game plan and it don't work. You tried to take out Christian McCaffrey and it not work. That's crazy. I think he had a couple of games, maybe 3 games where he didn't rush for 100 yards last year. But all-purpose yards, he was over 100. I think that's what Kyle Shanahan is alluding to. Now, he was asked about Christian McCaffrey's usage. Would it go up? Would it go down? It's so funny because I could have sworn we talked about this on the No Harm, No Foul show at the same damn time. And the funny thing is we're not watching the pressers live. We're not paying attention to anything that's going on. And we have some of these same type of questions. So let's go ahead and pull that up. Let me get this banner off. I want to hear what Kyle Shanahan had to say. Let's see if I could present it like this. He talked about his usage, and I thought this was pretty cool, right?
I mean, I don't think it always needs to be that case with all the runs. Like we got guys that can run the ball and stuff. We got to protect Christian from himself. He doesn't like to ever come out, no matter what the situation is. And I do think that's something we could protect him with more. When you are such a threat in the pass game, it's a little bit different, and that's when you get touches from a running back. A lot of times you're the last choice. Just everyone's deep and you throw it to a check down. So like halfbacks can get 6 targets in a game without one play called for them, just because they're on checkdowns a lot. And so how do we feel about those touches? Man, I'm glad he was out there for that check down. That means no one's around and he's getting up the field and he's as good of a threat on a check down as there can be. But if he's just taking the wear and tear with 20 carries and stuff every game, and he's definitely good enough to do that, and he's proved he can stay healthy, but you'd like to take some of that off of him and give it to other guys also.
So listen, I don't know if I feel like this is mad cap, right? Like I just feel like Kyle Shanahan capping. Ain't no way he taking Christian McCaffrey on the field unless Christian McCaffrey literally can't run the ball. Because look, I understand we got Bobby Turner and the running backs room is pretty damn solid. I think Elijah Mitchell is healthy. That's a plus. Oh my gosh. A healthy Elijah Mitchell is amazing, right? Healthy, right? But ain't no way. I just paid this cat how much money? Nah. Now that doesn't mean he's going to get the same amount of carries. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't mean he's going to get the same amount of carries. Yeah, you might lessen the low. How many carries he had last year? 272? Let's see if I can look that up real quick. Christian McCaffrey. Let's go to rushing. Let's see how many rushing attempts he had last year. 272. He had 272 attempts for 1,459 yards. Okay? 270. He averaged 5.4 yards a carry, 14 touchdowns. Okay? He fumbled the ball 3 times. We talked about that. And we just regular season. All right. I just don't see how you take this man off the field because of, unless it's a breather, literally a breather. Because it's almost like the Niners can't really afford to, right? One missed block, one missed read assignment can change the whole game. I love Jordan Mason to death. And unless we're at that goal line or running it down there, and that I'm like, yeah, it's tough, right? But I think Kyle's going to look to utilize Christian McCaffrey more in the passing game. So, yes, he may get less rushing attempts, but I think the passing attempts go up, in my opinion. That's just my thought. 7 touchdowns last year receiving. He had 79 targets with 67 receptions. He was 84.8% receiving. God dang, he was the best receiver on the team. 564 yards, average 8.4. And remember I talked about the checkdowns earlier in the episode? I know Kyle Shanahan ain't looking to go to the checkdowns. I know his plays are dialed up to get down the field, middle of the field, open middle, stuff like that, crossing routes, all that booty bada bang bang. I'm hoping Brock Purdy says, F all that, man. Listen, if I see my guy wide open on a check down, I go through the progression, I'm going to get it to him. There's nobody in front of him. He can easily get you 10 plus yards. And I think for me, Christian McCaffrey gives that disadvantage. You know, he's a disadvantage out there on the football field to the opposing defenses, right? Kyle wants him on the field. You want the defense to draw that attention to Christian, especially, and he's going to get a lot of one-on-ones. Like, they're not going to double him. He's going to get a lot of one-on-ones, especially in the receiving game. So I wouldn't be surprised if he lines up outside more. But he had 89 snaps in the slot. He had 46 snaps as a wideout, so he lined out wide. And then inline, he had 14. I just feel like Christian McCaffrey is going to be utilized a little bit differently, to me, in my opinion, in the receiving game. And I'm cool for it. I'm about that life, especially if it helps the wear and tear on him, the tread on his tires. And the cool thing is, I think Kyle is going to be a little bit more trusting with some of these other running backs. I think Elijah Mitchell is healthy. And if Elijah Mitchell is healthy, you can tell Kyle Shanahan trusts things to work when Elijah Mitchell is out there. JD Durham says, I thought Mitchell was a good receiver out of the backfield, but I heard they were laughing at his ass today. I didn't hear about stuff that went on today. Possibly. We'll see what happens. I thought Elijah Mitchell was the best thing since sliced bread his rookie season. And then we all know how that ended up panning out the next year, right? I mean, you know, I know this is a what have you done for me lately league, but without Elijah Mitchell, I mean, the Niners, that rookie season, I mean, he literally balled out literally by himself. You know what I mean? And so we'll see what happens. But I think if Elijah Mitchell is healthy, you know, I think this will allow Kyle Shanahan to do some more things. You know what I mean? You got Patrick Taylor there. You got the rookies there. Jordan Mason is there. And so they got a good freaking room. And I know there's a possibility. Now, here's my thing. If you don't see Elijah Mitchell utilized early, right? I think he'll play early, but if you don't see him utilized enough, then there's a possibility that they're trying to move on from him from the trade deadline. So it's like they're going to give him an audition. They're going to let him go out there and do what he does. But if we sleeping on a healthy Elijah Mitchell, I don't think we're getting a second for Elijah Mitchell. Yeah, nobody wants to have this conversation, no Collie. But your boy Breezy will, because he don't. 0. Yeah. So, funny, contract year for Elijah Mitchell. It's a contract season for Elijah Mitchell, and Christian McCaffrey just got extended. I'm glad Christian McCaffrey is the forefront of the 49ers running backs room. Isaac Guerendo, you're going to have to do your thing. Step your game up, bro. Jordan Mason, whatever they ask you to do, figure it out. I don't know what it is, but you got to get out there on the football field. I just feel if there's anybody that's trade bait, it's got to be Elijah Mitchell. But the health is what would bring his trade value down. Everybody keeps saying you'll get a second. You're not going to get a second for a player from Elijah Mitchell with the health. That doesn't even make sense. Dude ain't had one healthy season. Not happening. But you might get a fifth, which that's, I think we spent the 6 on him, right? So you gain up. I'll take a fifth. You know what I mean? I just think the only way you move on though from Elijah Mitchell is if you see the progression in the Isaac Guerendo, because that's Elijah Mitchell. That's the speed. That's the catching ability. That's the pass protection. That's the running ability. That's what you get. So if you see the progression of Isaac Guerendo year 1, and you're going to get special teams, we never got a chance to watch really Elijah Mitchell on special teams because who was the running back we had when he was here and he got hurt? Was it Mostert? I can't remember. Or was it Coleman? It was one of those guys, and he had to come in and be the guy right away his rookie year. Nothing happened to Mason. I think Mason just being an undrafted guy, man. I just don't think you get the same type of perks, man. I think that the battle uphill is a lot tougher. And there's a reason why you went undrafted. And what we see him do is very productive, but we don't know what the 49ers are asking him to do and why he's not able to move up in the running back depth. Now, when he needs to be used, he uses him. Maybe the Niners can only do certain things with him out there on the football field. It's effective, but maybe the Niners are looking to do more. It's the only thing that makes sense to me. So I'm trying to make it make sense to you guys out there. Like I can't really explain it. But I don't think anything happened to Jordan Mason. But another contract guy, right? Like another year, or is that next year? I can't remember. McLeod is gone. Was it Breida? It was a player. Tevin Coleman. I can't remember who's going to be the starting running back that year, but I remember him getting injured in camp, and that's where Elijah Mitchell took over. Was it? I don't think it was Breida, because Breida was traded before, and Coleman came after Breida, so it couldn't have been Breida. And yes, Oscar, this is the key. Now it's crazy, right? Because he's an ace on special teams. But when it comes to pass protection, that's where he's struggling. They're scared to put him out there. Like that's what it is. It had to be Mostert. Definitely wasn't Breida. Breida was gone. Breida was traded. It had to be Mostert. I'm with you, DeAndre. Appreciate you. All right, so I talked about this player, right? And so is anybody else other than me like infatuated with Charvarius Mooney Ward? Like he's just starting to say like all the cool things. He's like the cool kid that was quiet, but now because he started making a name for himself, she's starting to chip a little bit. Now listen, Charvarius Mooney Ward is on the last year of his deal. Now there's a clip about Ward. I don't think AD's picks you have to be concerned about the muscle core injury. He played through it last year. He did talk about his back. I'm about to hit him up because I told him that you just called me old because my back be hurting, and so he mentioned I'm only 20 something, but I feel like I'm 30, 40. I ain't like that. That wasn't cool at all. I took offense to that. So you gotta be careful what you say, Mooney. But I'm gonna hit him up privately. I'm like, listen, man, you can't come at me like that. You know what I'm saying? Because the back hit different when you hit the 30s and then 40s. I don't even know what the 50s is like, but the back hit a little different, right? You drive and you be like, what's this pain on my back? Like, you know what I mean? Just a little different. But I think come training camp, he's going to be just fine. He's recovering well. Him and George Kittle had similar injuries. I don't think it's anything you have to be worried about. Remember, they played through these injuries last year. They just had the procedures to get it fixed, and so allow them the right time to rest, right? And so that's going to be cool. Yeah. So huge props to my man Ward. But they asked him about coming back. I think that's where I got a little excited. You know what I'm saying? They asked him about coming back. It's like, you know what? Let's listen to it.
Talking about a deal. Yeah, I like to stick around. I feel like it's a good team. They love me here. I love it here. Love all the coaches. Love my teammates. But I just let my agent handle it. That's the business side of things. I'm just do my job, go out there and ball. Put the pressure on them. Hopefully they give me a bag.
I gotta start right there, because this is the type of talk that I'm talking about. My man said, listen, I just got to go out there, do my job, and put the pressure on them. Now, listen, I ain't Mike Andrews. I don't break down these pressures. What makes me happy makes me happy. I ain't looking for nothing subliminal, because this is as blunt as you can get in the NFL. Listen, yeah, I'll let it be back. Know what I'm saying? I like it here. I think they like me here. Know what I'm saying? Yeah, right? But listen, I'm going to let my agent handle it. I'm just going to go out there and do my job and put the pressure on him. I think right there, he could have dropped the mic. Like literally dropped the mic. Corey, what's going on, bro? He could have dropped the freaking mic right there. I was done. I was like, here, take my money. Woo! I was like, you got me, Mooney. Like, that was it. Like, I need them to figure out how to keep Mooney Ward. I don't care who you drafted. You got to keep him on. He talked about his production. This dude came out and said that, yeah, you know, I had 5. I could have had 10 interceptions last year, and I started to think. I felt like he dropped a couple. I ain't gonna go to that Minnesota game. I mean, you let that little kid take that ball out your hand, dog. But you know, that's another conversation. I'm getting excited right now. Then he talked about getting the bag.
If they don't, I know it won't be like any bad blood. It won't be like any bad. Hopefully they give me a bag. If they give me a bag, you know, hopefully they give me a bag.
I had to rewind
if
that 4
don't,
times.
I know it won't be like any bad blood in between me and them. It's just like it'll be a business decision. But I'm pretty sure they'll like to have me, and I'd like to stay here for sure.
Now this is smooth operator right here. I feel like Mooney Ward is the Big Daddy Kane of the 49ers, right? Real smooth, don't talk junk, know what I'm saying? But puts the cane down and lets people know that he gets the job done and he works. Like, you know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Because he definitely talked about saying he hoped they give him the bag after he put in the body of work. I don't know how y'all feel about this. I don't know how the Niners feel about this. All I know is they need, this dude is an all-pro. Man, it's going to be tough. Can I ask y'all a question before we dip up out of here? And I appreciate y'all, everybody that's watching this live. Can I ask y'all a serious question? If you had to choose between Mooney Ward and Deommodore Lenoir to re-sign, who would it be? I gotta wait for some answers to pop up. If you had to choose between Deommodore Lenoir and Mooney Ward to re-sign, who would it be? Now, take out the factor of age. Take out the factor of first contract, and it's going to be hard. I'm gonna keep it a buck. I'm gonna keep it a buck. It's going to be harder to sign Deommodore Lenoir. Okay, it's going to be harder. I just want to put that out there. I want y'all to think before y'all speak. Think before you speak. Right? Just think a little bit before you speak. Now, listen. I understand. I understand. I just want to let everybody know that my man Ward led the team in interceptions last year with 5, and he should have had 10. Because he dropped that. Should have had 10. I'm just saying. I'm going to tell you right now, though, the Deommodore Lenoir contract, depending on how he play, and let's say let's say Mooney Ward is an all-pro and Deommodore Lenoir makes the Pro Bowl. I don't think they'll have 2 all-pros. But let's say Mooney Ward elevates his game and Deommodore Lenoir makes the Pro Bowl. Now, this is a tough question. It's tougher for me. Like, you know what I mean? It's tougher. It's a tough question for me. We got some Wards. We got some demos, the aggressiveness. Yeah, because you talk about, there it is. I was waiting for versatility. I was waiting for that. And I think if that is, but, Collie, Collie, bro, listen, man, I appreciate you, fam. Just want you to know that. So I got to throw you the monkey wrench. They just drafted Renardo Green. I'm just going to let that sink in and simmer saute. They just drafted Renardo Green. I'm just going to let it simmer saute. And they talk about playing him in the slot. I'm just going to just let that simmer for a little bit. You know what I mean? So do you go with the all-pro proving guy that you could probably sign on a 3-year deal for a little bit less, opposed to, look what Brandon Ayuk's contract extension is going to take some time. I don't know why people think it's going to happen tomorrow. It's going to take a minute. First contract, coming out of his rookie deal, it got to be right. We talk about Deommodore Lenoir as well. You talk about Talanoa Hufanga too. Like, this could be crazy. This could be crazy. Miss Debbie says, come on, Wayne. It's a fair question, Miss Deb. It's got to be fair, right? It's got to be. Look, I don't like it. And I ain't choose. That's why I'm letting y'all choose. Y'all not gonna get me blocked by these guys. Y'all chose. I'm not picking. I ain't selecting none of them. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm just saying both need to go out, have all Pro Bowl seasons, and call it a day. Yeah, I'll leave it at that. Call it a day. Now, look, it's crazy because it comes down to preference, right? And what are the Niners looking for? I don't think they have another guy like Travarius Mooney Ward on this roster. I think they drafted some guys that can play more like what Deommodore Lenoir does. Y'all talk about replacing Deebo and Brandon Ayuk because they went out and got Jacob Cowing and they got Ricky Pearsall and they got these. Why can't we talk about the cornerbacks? I'm just saying, why can't we have a conversation? Why y'all gotta be biased? You know what I'm saying? You can't be biased on the offense, defense, the same shit. The Niners go out and they draft guys that they look to replace. Now, I don't know if Darrell Luter Jr. is going to turn into more of a Mooney Ward type of guy. I don't know. It's possible. But all I know is the Niners are in great mother freaking hands. And ladies and gents, they looking to run that junk back. Now, listen, I know they didn't win the Super Bowl, but getting back to the Super Bowl is a non-negotiable. Non-negotiable. Negotiable, however I want to say it is what the word is. I know how to spell it. That's the only thing that matters. Non-negotiable. Non. Why? Because they got standards, and they're called red and gold standards. Ladies and gentlemen, thank y'all so much for tuning in. Shout out to everybody out there, all the super chats that came through. I truly appreciate you guys. I love y'all one time. Hopefully, I'll be back on Thursday. I got to shout out my brother Steven. Says, member for 12 months, 1 year. That flew by fast. You get the air horns, baby. I appreciate your support, man, and all that you do for the channel. Guys, don't forget, if you're new to this joint, subscribe to the channel. If it's your first time watching, definitely hit that like button. And listen, you definitely can support the channel and the stream by becoming a member of the Breezy Bunch crew. So go ahead and do that, man. It doesn't cost you much. Love y'all. Stay up, stay faithful. Nitty Gritty will be back soon, ladies and gents. Y'all stay, keep your panties in a bunch. I think that's what it is. I never say none of those crazy, corny sayings, but it just felt like it was the perfect time to say it. Love y'all, man. We out this joint.
I be sipping gold bar whiskey on the rocks and a 24 karat gold on a watch. My 7-1 Chevy be tipping non-stop, sounding like Trent Williams on the block. So you know we can't stop, we be banging through your speakers. WayneBreezie on the field or in the bleachers. You can tune into my show and I'm a teacher. WayneBreezie, the phone line preacher.